Hey guys, it's Buck. Currently, we are at the point where we have collected data from 4 interviews already, where we have studied appraisal and feedback system and how it affects the work efficiency at Aircom and furniture company. And then we coded the data. So we're going to show you our whole coding process. Now we will explain the coding process. So overall, I think when we coded interviews 3 and 4, we still had actual codes and even open codes from interviews 1 and 2 in our minds. So we kind of built up on those codes and we knew what type of code we would use for this or that fragment already. However, there were still instances where because of the new data collected, we had to create new open codes, but even actual codes when we saw a topic appear frequently in the text. Now we will show you our overview of our open codes, which we basically done with starting with primary codes, which we attach to the fragments, and then we group them if they were concerning the same subject, so we reduced it. Now onto my no, to my boy, Sami.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys? This is Payaso with our next concept, memes. Oh, I mean memos. Sorry. We use we use memos to follow our thought process and observations during the project. First off, we added memos in the interview process in order to record unheard stuff like body movements, touching your phone, watching time during the interviews, so that we could analyze this with our record later on in the process. In addition, we also added methodological memos. For example, a memo after the first interview when we realized that the interviewee had a lot of trouble understanding the concepts of feedback and appraisal. So we added the definitions of following interviews. Another thing we added was a theoretical memo, since we needed another Axile code. Organizational culture named Axile code, since we needed something to manifest on the relationship between managers and employees in the company. Next up, Axile codes. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Michael and I'll be talking about our Axial coding process. So our next step in the coding process following the open coding was to do axial coding. Overall aim of this is to develop a structure for the open codes that have been generated previously. This is achieved by creating an overarching category that contains similar open codes that are relevant to the category. So by doing so, the high number of open codes are reduced into a more comprehensive list of axial codes. In our case, the axial codes that we have come up with are personal development, poor management, good management, poor feedback and appraisal system, good feedback and appraisal system, and organizational culture. By doing so, we were able to reduce the vast amount of open codes into 6 distinct categories. Each of these categories contains relevant open codes. For example, the overarching category of poor management contains the related open codes, such as lack of training provided and ineffective appraisal system. We also found that there is a relationship between many of the overarching categories. As can be seen on the mind map, poor management has a negative relationship with personal development, in that greater poor management leads to less personal development. Personal development can also be negatively affected by a poor feedback and appraisal system. On the other hand, a good feedback and appraisal system and good management can lead to an increase in personal development. Dylan will now cover the next step in the coding process, which is selective coding.
What's up, guys? I'm Dylan. I'll tell you something about selective coding. Selective coding is used in the end phase of the research. The main purpose of selective coding is determining important categories, as well as finding one possible core category, formulating the theoretical model, and reassemble the data in order to answer the research question and realize the research aim. In our research, via selective coding, we determined that work efficiency was our core code and core category. This because it possesses the characteristics which are important for a core category. It is a central category, which means that a lot of other categories of Excel coding are linked to it. It also stands in the heart of both our analysis and the data we collected during our interviews. It really makes it possible for us to put the pieces of the puzzle of our research together. And it's also formulated in a way which is abstract enough that it can find possible applications in other fields of research. Our Excel codes can each be found to have a relationship and effect with work efficiency. Good management, good feedback and appraisal systems, and personal development each have a positive relationship with our core code work efficiency, whereas bad management and bad feedback and appraisal systems have a negative relationship with our core category. We have also found that organizational culture has a neutral relationship. There are certain misinterpretations you have to watch out for when confirming findings. Some of these misinterpretations include an unbalanced selection of the data, selectivity, or putting a hypothesis aside too easily based on just certain information. Hopefully this will make some of the basic elements of selective coding clear. And next up is Sammy again.
So overall, we validated our theoretical framework as we suggested that the positive feedback that the employees would receive would be the most important factor to increase their work efficiency. Another factor that we said was that negative feedback would not be as influential, and that was indeed what we found out from the interviews. Another additional thing that we noticed is that the employees valued the attention from their employers towards their personal life rather more than just as assets of the company, as a very major thing to be considered by the manager. All right, this wraps it up. See you in the recess.
Thanks, guys.
Scooter.
Bye, guys.